Hey. How is everybody doing in TGD land and other lands as well? Hope you guys are good. I had some requests. Car shots. There she is. Jeep is somewhere over there. She's not in the mud anymore. I had to get her out of there. We were looking pretty ghetto. You know, when you got your car parked like on your lawn, like you're starting to push that envelope. Anyways, it's not an envelope we need to push. So this is the TGD Entrepreneurial Tip, and I wanted to talk to you guys about it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So when I started The Good Dog, I posted a picture yesterday showing my original spot where The Good Dog started, where it first sprouted its goodness. And I think some people thought it was a house in the picture because the way it looks and that it's not your typical apartment building, but it's in fact an apartment. They're bungalow style apartments, but it was a 1-bedroom, tiny, I don't know, like 500 square foot, 600 square foot place. But it had a teeny little backyard, but it was in fact an apartment. A lot of folks in the picture said, oh wow, I thought you were in an apartment, not a house. It's not a house, it was an apartment. But what I want to talk to you guys about is that I started getting things rolling in 2007, 2008, like starting my dog walking business, and then slowly kind of like working in like dog training stuff, like very organically. It was very kind of like slow kind of movement into that. And wow, almost just had myself a, I don't know if you guys can see it, almost just had myself a special little treat stepping in my sandals in a giant fresh pile of poop. We'll chalk that up to good karma right there. Good poop karma. Anyways, guys, so 2007, 2008, and I didn't have any business experience. I didn't know anything about business. I didn't know anything about the marketplace. All these like fancy terms and concepts that I know about now, I didn't know about then. I just knew that I had a dream. I just knew, dog hair. I just knew I had a dream, and I just knew that I desperately wanted to get there. I wanted to build this thing, and I believed I could build this thing, but I sure didn't know what I didn't know, right? So I didn't know that the economy was like tanking, right? When you're a valet and you're making, you know, $9 an hour, and I don't know, 25, 20, I don't know what I was making annually, I can't even remember, but it wasn't a lot. Wasn't a lot of investing and things like that going on. But when you're a valet making that kind of money, like, you're not living in a world where you're even like, at least I wasn't, hip to the economy and like what's going on with policy and legislature and where the market's at and things like that. I had no clue about that. I didn't know that we were going through like a giant recession and that things had really tanked, and that for a lot of people it was what they would consider a really, really bad time. So luckily, not knowing any of that, I just got started. I just decided I was going to build a business. I had goals, but I didn't have any like really like concrete plans because I'd never built a business and I didn't really know what to expect or what to put in place. It was really bungling, kind of like finding my way through it. And I think that's really okay, guys. Not that you want to bungle, not that you want to be reckless or make dumb mistakes, but there's just a learning curve that you can't get around when you're talking about building something, building a business. You're going to be learning as you go. And so I think that's an important thing to hold on to, that like to go easy on yourself, shoot for big stuff, shoot for doing things at a very high level, shoot for like having all your T's crossed and your I's dotted, but also know that like there's gonna be a lot of things you're gonna do wrong, a lot of things you're not gonna know, and sometimes it's best just to move forward rather than like, I'm gonna have this all perfect and you know, like that whole concept of like paralysis, you know, analysis paralysis, or like preparation paralysis. A lot of ways to distract yourself from like taking chances and taking risks and actually leaping out and taking a shot at something. So you got to be super careful with that and super honest with yourself. But getting back to the concept or the point of this video was, you know, just start. Was I didn't know it was a bad economy. I didn't know things were, you know, up. let's jump into this. This is the stuff that typically people pull up or pull out as far as reasons why things can't work, reasons why they're stuck, reasons why they won't try, reasons why it's hard, excuses. Let's just be frank. The government, whether that's, like federal or state, local, whatever, legislature, things in place that are hampering your ability. Taxes are too high. The economy sucks. The economy's challenging. The marketplace is saturated. My location sucks. I'm too far away. People can't get to me. I'm in the middle of the boonies. Or like I was just saying, it's too saturated because I'm like right in the middle of everything. Like there's an excuse for everything. There's an excuse for like, there's too many, too many dog trainers and it's like it's overwhelming, or there's nobody out here and I can't find anybody to like to purchase my services or my products or whatever. There's a million excuses you can use, and that's all they are excuses, because there's always a way around this stuff. There's always a way. And even if that means like you got to move, or you've got to get smarter, or you've got to get better about how you market or how you tell your story or how you do your thing, there's always a way. So I wanted to make sure that like you guys, I know a lot of you guys are contemplating starting businesses, or in the beginning, kind of the throes of starting your business, or at some other point in that arc of like building and growing. And you can get caught up in all this different stuff, all these different details of what you don't know. Are you gonna do it right? Are you gonna do it wrong? And you can get caught up in the excuses. This is hard, this is challenging, I can't get past this hurdle. It's all BS, guys, it's all BS. Like, I'm glad I didn't know anything about it being a bad economy when I started my business. Like, I built a really thriving business 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, and it just kept building and building because I didn't know any better. I just put my head down and built something based on some very core beliefs. And that was, and this is something that we teach at T3, but it was something that I luckily figured out very early on, just through more of like an intuitive kind of like basic, it's not fancy, it's just basic stuff, which is like awareness and trust. Awareness and trust, awareness and trust, awareness and trust, awareness and trust. And that's all I was trying to do. I was trying to create awareness of who I was so people would know about me. And then I wanted to be trustworthy. I wanted to do good enough work, create great results, be a good person, be somebody dependable, be somebody solid, in both like my marketing, how I shared myself, but also in how I actually interacted on a human-to-human level. So the awareness and trust components are like absolutely essential, because if people trust you but they can't find you, it doesn't work. And if people can find you but they don't trust you, it doesn't work. So you gotta have both if you want a thriving, continuous business. So I really kind of figured that out early on, and so I was like, okay, so I've got to like start gaining awareness, or having people gain awareness of who we are if we're going to do business, or I'm going to do business. So I started with what I had, and what I had was a BlackBerry. Remember that back in the day? And I started taking pictures with the BlackBerry, and taking pictures of pack walks, because that's what I was doing a lot of, was pack walks. And back in the day, sounds so weird to say, but back in the day in 2008, it's a ways back, not as many people were doing that stuff. So like I would do videos on YouTube of me, even just with like a tripod, nobody shooting, no fanciness, just like my BlackBerry, no, not even my BlackBerry, I might have been using a flip cam on a tripod, and just showing like very simple stuff, like showing dogs doing recalls, showing dogs like doing basic obedience commands, showing dogs working around the house. I made YouTube videos out of that. Facebook wasn't even doing video at the time. So everything, if I remember right, everything had to be linked out to YouTube. I was doing pictures. I was trying to set up cool, fancy, like pack walk pictures where I'd have the dogs doing something really cool and something that would catch your eye, right? I was intuitively looking for things that would create awareness, where somebody would go, oh, that's really interesting, and get their attention, so they would actually pay attention and maybe dive a little deeper. So I would pose dogs, and like, you'll see it on like, you can still see it on like my YouTube screen, where dogs are all like lined up across the street, or you know, just I did a bunch of like pretty fun, fancy kind of pictures, just me and a pack of dogs. There was no photographer, there was nobody out there like setting it up. It was just me. So, right? So challenging. You got a pack of dogs and you're trying to like make pictures look cool and do all that stuff. Anyways, I knew intuitively I needed awareness, so I was using what I had, where I was at, which was I didn't have like hardly any money. I didn't have a training facility. I didn't have any real knowledge of like social media or SEO or website stuff or anything like that. I just started. You guys are so lucky because I'm gonna sit down over here. My arm's falling off. You guys are so lucky because there's so much freaking information out there now. Oh, that's so much better. There's so much freaking information out there. Websites that are like awesome templates. Like, if you could have seen my first couple of websites, they bring tears to your eyes. Not tears of joy, tears of sadness for me. They were so bad. You guys have got these great, great templates for websites. SEO is something that just about everybody knows about, search engine optimization. And if you don't know about it, you can Google it and you can like get somebody working for you that can help you do it. There's programs out there. Everybody knows about social media. When we first started teaching T3, the first handful of them, we were trying to teach people that social media was important. If you can like imagine that, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, something like that, we were actually like, I can remember the early T3s being like, you guys need to be on these platforms. You need to be doing YouTube videos. You need to be doing like, and people were digesting it and like trying to figure out if that was like really real. And so our connection for them was like, well, how'd you find us? How did we get you here? And they're like, YouTube videos and, you know, social media. We're like, exactly. That's how it works, right? So connect the dots of like how it worked for you is how it can work for your clients as well. So you guys have got so many advantages. You're so far ahead of the game. And I'm wondering, and the reason for the pause, I'm wondering if it's like, I'm wondering if the ease of which you guys have all this stuff has taken some of the gusto and the like, I don't know. It's just, it's a curious thing to see like a lot of people still get caught up in excuse making when there's so many opportunities and things are so much easier than they ever were. Or maybe what it's done is just the ease of starting businesses has caused a lot of people that maybe in the past, this is interesting, maybe in the past wouldn't have started a business because it was too hard and unwieldy and challenging and unknown, has caused a lot of people that maybe aren't really like, I want it more than anything, to go after it and then kind of struggle because it's hard. Even with all the cool stuff that's available, it's hard. It's a ton of freaking work. It's emotionally challenging. It's physically challenging. So that's an interesting point. I'm wondering if all the stuff available has caused a lot of people to jump into the scene of building their own business or wanting to build their own business, but not having the real gusto, the real guts, and the real determination to find their way through it. And so that's an interesting point. But I don't want to detour the video too much, but it's something to think about, that if you're out there, you know, working on a business and working on building your dog training business or any business, and you're like, yeah, this is really hard and blah, 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 blah. And like, if you're complaining about stuff in this current climate where things are so freaking easy, you might want to take a really close look at whether this is something that you really want to do, whether you're really cut out for doing it, because it's damn easy compared to what it used to be. So that's an interesting check-in for people. Make sure that you really, really want this. And it's not just like, oh, that would be fun. Because, oh, that would be fun is going to last about a week. And then you're going to realize, oh, this is an amazing amount of work. And it's challenging even with all of these cool things that I can utilize and leverage out there that exist now that didn't exist before. I can utilize those, except it's still a ton of freaking work. So anyways, it's an interesting thought to kind of have, a cool thing to check in on. But mostly what I've found with people that have done great stuff and made things happen, they just have that drive and determination just to start. They say F the excuses. They don't give a crap about the government. They don't give a crap about what's happening with, what their tax rate is. They don't give a crap about their location. They don't look at the limitations that are so easy to get caught up into and buy into and let them be excuses that prevent them from moving forward. They just move forward. They just find their way around. They just go. So I think that's really the determiner of people that are really cut out to build a business and do this damn thing, are the ones that are like, I don't care about any of this stuff. I'm gonna go build it. And yeah, maybe there was some luck for me in the naivete of not knowing about this stuff, but I'm telling you, few people, I can say this with 100% belief, that few people jumped into the business sphere or business world with less knowledge than yours truly. Like, I knew nothing. And if I knew nothing and I can now have a successful business or multiple businesses, and I'm able to teach others about business, I'm not saying I'm the best business teacher in the world, not saying I know it all, because I certainly don't, but that if I can go in like 8 years or 9 years or whatever the heck it's been from a point of like not knowing any of this stuff and really just bumbling my way through to a point where like I have a pretty decent handle on a lot of this stuff, anybody can do it. Anybody with the gumption, I love that word. Anybody with the drive, anybody with the determination, because drive illuminates the path. You don't need a effing path if you've got drive. You don't need to live in the perfect city if you've got drive. You don't need to have the perfect economy if you've got drive. You don't need to have a non-saturated market if you've got drive. You don't need any of that stuff. The drive will illuminate the path. If you're in a saturated market and you're driven, you'll destroy everybody else. You'll find a better way to market. You'll find a better way to tell your story. You'll find a better way to create awareness. You'll do a better job of creating trust. If you've got the drive, it won't matter what the economy is doing, where you're at. It won't matter what the enemy, your competition, is doing. It won't matter what personal issues you might have. Get out of here. None of that stuff's gonna matter, because if you're driven, you're gonna find it. That's the beauty of drive. Drive illuminates the path. I'm such a big believer in that, guys. And what I want to close out with is that I want you guys, the ones that are really built for this, that want it, there are so many flies right now, that are so driven to do this, that they're gonna like explode if they don't, to just start. You don't need everything to be perfect, guys. You don't need all the fancy schmancies. You just need to say, I want this, and I want it really bad, and I'll find my way. I'm willing to make mistakes. I'm willing to screw up. I'm willing to look foolish. I'm willing to try things that don't work. I'm willing to risk things within reason, not recklessly, and find my way to whatever my dream might look like. That's what this is about. Just start. If you want it, if you are gonna lose your marbles if you don't do it, then you gotta just start. And you can't give a crap about anything else going on around you, because if you do, you're not ready. You're not one of those people that are built to do it. If you're looking at excuses and you're making excuses and creating rationalizations for why it's so hard, you're not really built for this. I hate to say it. I know Gary Vee's talked a lot about this lately, and this really isn't about like building off Gary's thing. But as I was saying, it was kind of like reminding me, I'm like, Gary's been talking a lot about like true entrepreneurship and things like that. But it is a really important point. It's, it's gotten so easy to build businesses that I think a lot of people have jumped in that that don't have that drive. And so make sure you got it, because if you don't, you're going to end up just wasting your time. And if you do have it, just jump, just go. If you do have it, you're probably not even listening to this video. You're just like, I'm out of here. I know how to do this stuff, or I'll find my way. You don't need it to be perfect. You don't need to have fancy stuff. You can start out of a 1-bedroom apartment like I did. You can start with no money. You can start with no business skills. You can start with no team. You can start with 0, and you can build a freaking empire if you're driven, if you want it, if you've got the desire, if you won't let anything stop you, and if you're willing to put yourself out there and take chances and find your way, because that's what it's all about. So with that, I'm gonna get on out of here. It's a beautiful day. If you watch my Instagram stories, you know I had a big run-in with a lot of ice cream last night, so there's gonna be a lot of time spent at the gym. Book's almost done. A couple pieces I'm working on tightening up. Back the text for the back cover. We got the cover. Oh man, is it looking fresh? Cover's looking so good. I'll be sure to sneak a little bit of that out once we get the back and front like completely finished and tightened up. I'll be sure to share that with you guys. How's that for somebody who was like parking cars 8 years ago, 9 years ago, right? Like, I got a book coming out. Like, it's crazy stuff, right? It's all drive, guys. That's why I've got DVDs. That's why I got a place in New Orleans. It's why I've, just drive, right? So just the book reminded me, like, who am I to write a book? I'm somebody who wants to write a book. Who are you to build a business? Who are you to change the world? Who are you to do any of this stuff? You're that person, if you're that person. Anyways, I gotta go because this video is getting really long. I gotta get to the gym. Got a lot of work to do. Gotta bust some butt. We're shooting Q&A Saturday later this afternoon, so we gotta go, 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 go. Love you guys. I want the best for you. If this video seems like it's harsh, I don't intend it to be harsh. I intend it to be truthful, honest, and sharing the realities of life. You just gotta start, guys. You just gotta start. Don't wait for it to be perfect, because it sure won't ever be. Okay? Hope you're well. Take care. Bye.